Okay, so originally I started with the Agriculture Department as the clerk typist in about September 1976, and we actually lived in the block next door to the Ag Department. So it was very handy for me to just walk to work right next door. And then a little bit later on, I think probably about Christmas time, after Christmas we moved up to Connemara Street, so I would walk from Connemara Street to the Ag Department to work most days and home most days as well. So I worked for the Agriculture Department in Derby in Western Australia as the clerk typist, and at the time when I was employed, the vet, I'm not quite sure of his full name, I think it was Brown Bezier, was the acting officer in charge until we got an officer in charge. I can't remember his surname, Mike somebody or other. And where I used to work was up the stairs and in the open area as the clerk typist, receptionist. I did all the typing duties as a 16-year-old. It was my first job out of school. Okay, so the people that worked at the Ag Department when I was there would have been Brown and Bezier. Ron Heelan was the Agriculture Protection Board officer in charge, and Carl Drysdale used to work there as well. I think he was the district officer. Jummy Marchant, he used to do some other testing for like fruit fly and stuff. I can't think of his first name. Walker, he was the stock inspector. I never used to see many of the other workers because obviously I was in the office. Yep. So when I would walk to work, coming from where I used to live on the corner of Clarendon Street, and I'm not sure the street, across the road from the swimming pool, out the front gate, and would actually walk past, I would walk past the shed where there were drums and stuff stored for APB, into the office, up the stairs, quite often at the bottom of the stairs, there was all the guys' spraying equipment and stuff just at the bottom of the stairs, and then it was just opening up into the office, upstairs. I didn't have my own office as such. Oh, the smell from the equipment and even the stench from the drums outside was a very yucky, horrible smell. Yeah. And as the clerk typist, I used to write all the monthly reports for the APB, for the stock inspector, for the vet, and I clearly remember the APB ones because they were always late. And you know, I can clearly remember, you know, doing reports on 245T, and my concern is that, you know, I know that I typed these reports, the old-fashioned typewriter with no computer, and all these reports were filed in the filing room. And my concern is where are these files now? You know, as most companies have progressed through the years, all their reports and stuff like that have been scanned and kept electronically. And when all this came about, you know, I mean, I've always had my concerns, but where's all this documentation gone? Well, whilst I was at the Agriculture Department, I was probably only there for about 9 months because I fell pregnant with my daughter. I had 2 severe hemorrhages whilst I was pregnant with Denise. And she was born healthily enough, but I was flown to Perth from Derby, and I had to stay in Perth until she was born. After Denise was born, I had 2 miscarriages, and you know, my mum did mention to me a couple of times, oh, I wonder if it's got anything to do with all that crap at the Ag Department. But my concerns now, I sort of think, well, I wonder if it is because my daughter's suffering serious medical issues where she has cysts that just come up over all her body. In probably 17 years, she's had 16 operations to remove these cysts. As recently as 6 weeks ago, she was operated on. They got infected. She ended up with septicemia. And so she was operated again. Whilst she was in hospital overnight, another cyst came up, the size of a small mandarin. That was operated on 2 weeks ago, just over 2 weeks ago, and bugger me dead, this week she's come up with another 3 cysts, and the doctors are baffled as to why she gets them how they come about. So she's in the throes of trying to get some medical intervention, I guess, to find out how we can stop them from happening. And yeah, it's very debilitating for her. And I've not really thought about my daughter much until this year, because it was just like, oh, you know, she's got this condition and it's an autoimmune disease that they told us, but nobody's been able to give her any answers as to why or how it happens. And she's only just now, with the doctors that she's seen, they were sort of arguing about who was going to have her case because they want to try and get to the bottom of it.
So in your time working at Ag Department, what was your role there?
Oh, clerk typist, yeah.
So you would have dealt with all the officers that worked there, their
Yes,
titles?
yep, yep,
One of the questions I must ask is Carl Drysdale.
yep.
What was his role?
Well, I know that he wasn't the officer in charge, so I think he was like the district officer for APB. Yeah.
And that was in for all the boys that were doing that?
Yeah, he used to be in charge of all the boys with the spraying and all that. So he used to be in the office, not all the time, but sometimes.
And you typed up the final reports?
Yes, his boss, Ron Heelan, who was the officer in charge of APB, he used to give me the monthly reports that would come by Carl.
Now, Ron Heelan, he came after Derek Sutton, was it?
Yes, well, I don't remember Derek Sutton. Ron was there when I was there.
Yeah, because Derek was there when they first started the spraying program. Then Derek left. And then, yeah, it must have been then.
Yeah, no, it was definitely Ron Heelan.
Because they had quite a few changes in that role there. But in that period of 10 years, from 75 to 85, was you at the office at that time? Or?
I was at the office from probably September 76 to end of June 77. And Carl was definitely at APB then, yeah.
You remember seeing any of the drums?
Yeah, there used to be like 44 gallon drums out the, you can't say back or front or whatever, but you know where the office was, there was like a sort of storage shed, and there used to be drums there, where they used to park their cars and that,
Oh yeah, that's, And later on they built that big shed right up against the side fence too.
Yeah, well I don't oversee because I left Derby in 77.
I think the shed got built 90s.
Yeah, that's,
in the 90s, 95 something.
Well, all the spray gear used to be inside. Because at the bottom of the stairs, that's where they used to put it. And from memory, the toilets were down the stairs.
Yeah.
And there could have been maybe a storeroom. I'm not sure, but definitely the toilets were downstairs.
Yeah, the staircase, there's the toilets.
Because you want to go to the upstairs, downstairs.
I can remember when my brother, Cyril, a couple of times for paydays, he couldn't even climb the stairs to go and collect his pay, and he had to get the other boys to go up and collect it. Yeah, no. That old brick shed, that's the armoury. You remember the knapsacks, the types of knapsacks they were using?
The backpack things, the backpacks with the spraying and never any respirators or anything like that, or protective gear.
Any of that?
No boots, nothing
No
like
boots,
that. No.
PPE, nothing?
No. I have a lot to do with safety at work now.
Yeah.
And I see the PPE that we have to use. And we don't even use dangerous chemicals.
Yeah, I can remember when I came back, I think it was in 77 or in 79 when I came back from the army, and actually went out to the shed they built out near the airport. And as walking into the yard, I could smell the drums, poison. And I asked the boys, I said, you know what that is? And they said, no, it's all right. He says, you can't drink it, but you can bath in it. And they said, they asked me why was I asking. I said, has that got a plastic lining on the inside? And Sago and them said, yeah. I said, you know what you got there? I said, no. So that's Agent Orange. Then we walked into the shed at the back where they were all sitting down drinking, eating their meals. There's other drums, unopened, in the shed. In the heat, no fans,
Yeah.
and yet they were eating in there, drinking, and laughing and playing cards, and
No whirlybirds on the roof.
no
Nothing.
whirlybirds. And there was a rainwater tank that was outside, and when they used to go out bush, they used to fill up their drinking water from that rainwater tank. And this trip back this time, we went there and there's a sign says, no drinking. And,
On the tank.
on the tank. Never was there before, but it's there now.
Incredible.
It's, yeah, all the signs. But the other little shed's long gone.
With the little brick shed.
No, no.
No. Oh,
It's
out
out
near
there
the
they had
airport.
another
Yep.
shed like you've got here,
Yeah.
garden shed. They had a couple out there. They're all disappeared. It's only just the one main frame. And it's got their trailer in there with the spray gear on it. The boat
Well, you
that
know what?
they
At the end of
use.
the day, Eugene, the bloody Noogoora burr's still there.
Yeah.
So, what the hell?
Well, even when I was on the Shire in '95, I was part of the pastoral board. And because the funding for the APB spray program came from the bull growers down here. That's how they got their
Ah,
funding.
okay, yeah.
That was to stop the burr from coming further south to get into the wool.
Mm.
And old Pete DeLong, a couple of other station managers and that, old Yuccamunga kid. We had a meeting down in Perthy and that's when they discovered one of the burrs at Lake Munga.
Ah.
Don't know how it came down, but yeah, it was found at Lake Munga.
But when did they stop sheep farming for good up in the Kimberley?
Well, going right back, yeah, it would have been early 70s somewhere, late 60s. Because it was only just that odd lot of sheep that was hanging around still.
Not much. So then why were they spraying for the Noogoora bird then, from then onwards?
Noogoora burr was actually an introduced
Species.
species that came across by transport from
Yeah.
Queensland. And the reason we worked that out is because when you crossed over at the Fitzroy, all the burr was only on the southern side, not the northern side.
Mm.
So it was being transported across. Till they opened up Geeky Gorge and that, then it started spreading up because the tourists picking up, moving around.
Yeah.
And came all the way down the river and yeah, it started blocking off the waterways for cattle.
But wasn't there another thing that they used to spray for as well? Just
Parkinsonia.
that's
and
it,
mesquite.
Parkinsonia.
Yeah, that's what it all started off because it's a hardwood.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but we tried to implement it through the communities to actually burn the burr, not use poison.
Well, that would be the better way. And
if
natural way.
There's 25 different communities that were along the river. That would have got broken up to each community's going out, have a little team picking, pulling, burning. May have got rid of it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as you know, the floods there, a lot of
Oh,
water,
well, the water just gets washed away for bloody
and it all
miles.
goes out.
Yeah,
But,
goes back out to the ocean.
yeah, on this last trip, Alex and I went up and we was at Langley, old Langley. No sooner I got out of the vehicle, walked about 10 feet, picked up 5
Mm.
burrs.
Yeah, saw that, yeah.
So they haven't got rid of it.
No.
It's still there.
So all this for what? Nothing.
And then you think of all the young fellas that's been affected,
Everybody just...
and everybody's getting deflected off to other doctors, which nobody really knows anything. Even when I was with ALS, we had a doctor come over from Victoria. He came up to Derby, interviewed 22 people, and he needed to do a test to take biopsy from each one.
Yeah.
When we went to get funding, asked for funding, the government then, state and federal, actually turned around and told us, if you proceed with it, ALS will not get any more funding.
Oh,
We were shut down and had to shut down the unit. The doctor went back.
you'd ask the question, why did that happen?
Why did it happen?
You know, like...
And I think
Yeah.
that's what everybody wants now. Main thing they want is answers.
Answers, yeah, yeah.
Closure for their families, for especially the Indigenous families and that, to have closure. But, yeah, that's the main things.
Yeah, all that for nothing, because,
For
you
what?
know, at the end of the day, we've got all these people's lives that have been lost.
Yeah, well, one of the main things that
The
the doctor...
Noogoora burr, and that's still there.
Yeah, well, the
So-
Dr. Smart stated to us then that it's not just one generation. This can go on to 3 to 4, maybe 5 generations.
It's pretty scary.
And as you look at some of the stories that we've done, where the ex-workers, their grandkids are being affected by it. And after going to the State Library, all the symptoms they've talked about are listed in one of the reports that the government's got that nobody can look at it. It's all locked away.
And there must be a reason why it's locked away, because
Question
it was
is,
the wrong
yeah.
thing, I suppose.
And then you have the government of today stating that it was never purchased, never made, never imported.
I think that's a load of BS.
Well, we've found a book that was found in a bookshop that dates back to 1958, when they actually started poisoning off water holes to the Kimberley Wallaby menace. So it's in their own journal.
Yeah,
And when you look back and think about it, it's actually a form of genocide
it is, yeah.
to the Aboriginal people.